Okay, everybody, welcome back. And now we are going to talk a little bit about um, kind of a vague scoring opportunity. It's kind of buried in the rule book. So this rule has to do with the undercut crop. You know, as I'm sure you're aware, for the time being, the undercut crop, let's say, I put it on here, it's worth 60 tokens. Well, the undercut crop can actually be harvested multiple times. And you're probably saying, okay, yeah, how do you do that, smarty pants? Well, the one key asset that you have to have is it's high tunnel. High tunnel is the asset that you have to have in order to make this happen. So I'm just going to set up the cool example here. What we have is the opportunity to bring in multiple scores. Okay, so if you happen to have the high tunnel, there's no limit on the number of times you can bring in that harvest, that particular crop. Okay, it's not limit one per customer, right? So in fact, you could have, let's say for instance, we have kale, and then we planted some extra kale, right? And, heck, let's go even one further, right? Set up this example to show harness the real power of this this particular item. We have 2 kale that's planted in our fields, right? Then we have 2 in our weight cue tray, right? Yeah, nice. So we are flush with funds. We are bursting at the seams with plenty of kale, right? So what are we going to do with all this? Well, seeing as how we have the high tunnel, what we're going to do is make sure we have plenty of tokens. We're going to go ahead and use the high tunnel, and we're going to plant some more kale. All right, and notice that you can only use the high tunnel once on a turn, right? It's an activity. It's only one type of activity. But we planted all this kale, and now we're going to cultivate it and harvest it. But here's something that's really interesting. Just to make this example a little bit more nuanced, why don't we do this? We're going to add carrots, okay? And so now we need to know, well, what is the best way to harvest this in order to maximize our scored potential, right? Well, as I said before, when you bring the undercut crop in, there's no limit to the amount of times you can borrow or take advantage of the undercut crop. It exists for every single harvest. Now, it does not exist for harvests on multiple turns. So in other words, all of the harvesting has to happen on one turn alone. If you try to go another turn, then obviously the undercut crop is lost, and everything resets back to 0, right? But while you're harvesting, the opportunity there is to do multiples. And so I have, in this particular example, I have 3 kale and I have carrots. Well, carrots are, of course, the other component of a 2-crop combo. And so we're going to figure out how to bring this in so that we're scoring big, right? Now, notice that when it comes to the 2-crop combo, you can only harvest it once. So, and why is that? Well, it's because the crops are going to move down in the market. Even in this example, where the kale's not going to possibly move down, the carrots will move one spot at least. So the first thing we're going to do, after we get done cultivating, of course, and paying for it, all right, 2, 4. And here's a token back. It's actually 8. Right? So we really get spent 8. And we put 8 into the cup just to be officious about this. All right. undercut. So we're going to harvest this, but we want to make sure we harvest our carrots first. So we do carrots on carrots, which is 10 bonus. Notice how that moves the carrots. And then of course we would harvest our first KO. And you want it to be the one that scores the most, right? You know, it makes sense. It always makes sense to try to harvest the things that are on the right cover crop field. So if I put KO on KO, I get 4 tokens on top of 60. So that's 64. Right? And then, since that was a 2-crop combo, I get to double this, right? So it's 60, 70, 73 points. 73 points doubled to 146, right? Hello. So there's 120, 150, 60, 30. Right, so that is a honking big score, right? Okay, so that's the first score. But like I said, since we're bringing in multiple kale at once, now we're getting greedy, right? So I got kale on kale again. So that's going to be 4 tokens plus 60. That's 4 tokens plus 60, and then one more time, it's the same deal, right? So, look at this amazing score. I mean, think about this. This was just one score. Now, and what is this total? You're not going to believe it. It's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, there's 30, that's 270, 280, 290, 300. We broke 300 points. This is 300. I just scored 304 points on one harvest, okay? So, that should kind of get you excited about scoring, right? But again, you know, this was a 2-crop combo, and it was multiple iterations of the same crop, right? And so, like I said, it's over 300 points, but it's very unlikely. You know, you would really have to work hard to come up with you know, multiple crops coming in with that undercut crop. And you know, setting up the undercut crop in itself is already it kind of puts you in the hole, right? So these are just a few hints and pointers, and just kind of interesting nuggets of information that are scattered throughout UFTA, just waiting for you to be waiting to be discovered by you or anyone that goes looking for it, right? You gotta do a little bit of exploration. That's what the old loop is about, right? All right, so that's just gonna do it for this particular video, and yeah, so just kind of keep always bearing in mind optimal ways of scoring in UFTA, and unleashing those powers when those opportunities arise. Okay. All right, so thank you all once again.